All right, here we are back again. Spartan from the Inside. This is episode number 16. We are back with Leah Thomas, who is going to be your event director for Spartan Race Dallas at Twin Canyons Ranch. I think a very important announcement before we jump into this episode is brought to you, and we get to do this now for a couple of these, is brought to you by GovX, who is actually the hosting sponsor for the event at Twin Canyons Ranch. And if you're not sure what GovX is a dedicated, they're dedicated to serving those who serve, right? If you want to go out and shop, and they offer e-commerce channels to all kinds of different services and products and companies. And if you are a current, former military, law enforcement, fire, ambulance, police, all of those things, right? You can go and register with GovX, and they extend these discounts across the board in all these different e-commerce sites to get some really awesome gear. And so GovX has been a sponsor for some of these Spartan events for quite some time, and they're an awesome partner to work with when they bring you these events, right? So welcome back, Leah.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you back. And so we are going to talk about Dallas Trifecta Weekend at Twin Canyons Ranch. And I know this will be your first time at Twin Canyons, right? And so obviously, not having been to this event before, obviously you're working off of historical data that we've got because we've been here for quite a few years and done some events here. But nonetheless, I don't think that is going to diminish in any way whatsoever the challenges and the product that's coming. So based on what you know about Twin Canyons, give us a quick 10,000 foot view of what the venue is like. I mean, it's Dallas, Texas, right? So I think we have an idea, but I'll let you tell everybody what you think the venue is like based on what you know.
So it's classic Texas ranch land. So it's going to have some rolling pastures, some rocky ground, some mesquite trees, big wide open skies. There's not going to be any like climbs or anything like that. But obviously when you're in Texas, you're going to have the sun and the elements to compete with. So that'll be the big challenge here in Dallas.
Yeah, I think the one thing about this venue is two things about this venue. You hit one of them right on the head of the nail, and that is the heat. It seems like it doesn't matter when we go to the Dallas venues, right? It's just hot. Same thing with anything around the Texas area. That area is the Austin events, the Dallas events, the San Antonio events. It's just hot, right? And the other thing that I do know about this venue, it's very dusty. Right. And so unless you get a little bit of rain here and there to keep that down, it's a pretty dusty venue. So again, just know that going in that what you don't get in elevation, you will be up against in the elements themselves. So let's talk course details and talk a little bit about the course, right? So what does Saturday look like? What does Sunday look like? And what can racers expect from the events?
Yeah, so we have a sprint, a super, a beast, and an ultra. So there's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of people, a nice big festival area with a lot going on there. I mean, it's going to be really exciting. A lot of cool obstacles and things to keep it exciting. So
what can people expect from an obstacle count? Do you have that sorted out yet for the distance?
I do. So for the sprint, we're going to have about 21. For the super, 28. For the beast, 32. And for the ultra, we will have 35-ish.
Sure.
But that's kind of the plan. I'm always subject to change here and there. But
yep. I know there's a lot of buzz out there about some of the obstacles that rolled out at Trifecta World Championships. We had chain carry there and tilting ladders. Any word on, can you divulge if any of that's going to be showing up here to Dallas, or is that still top secret information?
We do have chain carry on the list. So,
all right.
Yeah.
One of the things I was just told or instructed to do was to make sure I got with all of the event directors. And as we figure out what events chain carry is going to be at, how can we incorporate chain carry in some top secret ways to really kind of throw curveballs at people. So I would say stand by. You may or may not get chain carry the way that you think you're going to get it going forward. So, but more to come on that. We won't let all of that out of the bag yet. So, yeah, so I think you said it right. Not a lot to be concerned with from an elevation standpoint. And again, I've always said, from all of the venues that we've used in the Dallas, Glen Rose, Dallas, Granbury area, these are always pretty ideal beasts or ultras to get into if you haven't done one before, right? If you're, like, man, I've done a beast or I've done a sprint and a super, I can get a trifecta this year. I just need to knock this big beast out. But if you're hesitant and you don't want to travel to one of these big, the Killingtons of the world, the Montanas of the world, the Cincinnatis of the world, right? This is a really good first time beast or first time ultra participant experience, right? Because again, like, all you have to do is really just keep moving, and don't spend too much time in a transition area. And because the lack of elevation, again, doesn't change the fact that it's going to be hotter than Hades out there, potentially, and dusty and dry. But the elevation takes a lot out of people, right? That can be the game changer. That can be the difference between DNFing and finishing an event, right? And so Dallas has always been great for, anybody that's on the fence about getting out to do their first ultra or do their first beast, and you're in that area or thinking about traveling. This is really a prime opportunity to get in and get those first of those events done. And really, again, if you haven't done a beast or an ultra and you get out and try it, maybe it's just not what you think it was, right? It's not your distance. Maybe that's not the event for you. Or you get out there and be like, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Now I'm going for something in the mountains, right? I'm going to try to find those that are going to really push it to another level. But I've always loved the Dallas venues for that, because again, it's very welcoming. My first beast I ever did was in Dallas, was in Glen Rose, right? And so I appreciated not having all of that elevation to have to deal with. So,
well, and just practically speaking, Dallas is so easy to get in and out of. So if you are traveling, it's not like some of the other venues where it's needs a little bit more planning for the travel. I mean, even this late in the game or even later, being able to jump in and get some travel booked and stuff like that is pretty easy to do.
Yeah, I agree. And just thinking about those races I mentioned, the comparisons on the other side from the elevation. I mean, there's nothing easy about getting to Killington, right? There's nothing easy about getting to Big Bear or to Mammoth or to the Montana event. They're logistically challenging events to get to. And so to your point, very valid. Like, I mean, I think from Dallas to Twin Canyons Ranch, it's just an easy, quick, easy drive. It's not a long ways, right? And so it's Dallas, for not my favorite airport to fly in and out of, but also definitely not the worst airport to fly in and out of, right? And so definitely easy to get around to. So good point. So let's talk a little bit about the logistics and planning, because that's kind of where we're at this point. Obviously parking being important all the time. What can people expect from a parking situation when they get to Twin Canyons?
Yeah, so there's plenty of parking. It's really easy. Walk straight into festival. The one thing with this venue, though, is because it's a 2-lane road coming in, is to definitely plan ahead and make sure that there is a lot of extra time, just because there may be backups on the main road getting ready to turn in. So not pushing it too close to the time. Make sure that you have time to get into the parking lot and get settled beforehand. But as far as once you're in the parking lot, it should be easy peasy.
Nice. That's always a plus. No shuttles to worry about. None of that stuff, right? You're parking, you're jumping out, and you're a short walk into the festival, into the registration line. So, and you said it, like, so venue access, like, I think, it's pretty much, good traveling, bigger 2-lane highway roads and all that until you get to the venue, right? And then you've got the short little drive on some of the smaller stuff. But yeah, if you allow for some time, there won't be any issues there.
What we can to try to mitigate, the delays and things like that by having, extra parking attendants and things like that. But
Yeah.
you still always run the risk if you push it too close. So.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this on the last call, and we've talked about it on every call or every one of these videos. We've asked all the event directors kind of like, what's your number one pro tip, right, for making the race morning smooth? And you already said it, and that is just allow for a little bit of extra time, right, for that 2-lane road traffic and getting into the parking area. But once you're in there, you're good to go. So just allow for that time. So we talked a little bit about it, but I think, and we're still a little ways out, but like, what can people expect from weather at this event?
Hot.
Yeah.
But anybody that knows anything about Texas and Dallas knows that those thunderstorms that can come in can be fierce. So, that's always going to be an issue. The rains could, you talked about the dust, if it's dry and hot, I mean, absolutely with the dust. But if we do get a big rain shower or something like that, it can kind of change the dynamic of that a little bit. But for the most part, just plan for heat.
Yeah. That's something interesting too. The other part is if on race day, like we don't wish or we try not to even say the R word when we're close to race days. But the soil in this part of Texas is so unique. There's a name for it. I forgot what they call it. I can't even remember the name of the soil and what they call that. But like it can rain and the top 2 inches of this soil become like muddy super glue. You know what I mean? Like you can't hardly pick your feet up out of it. Right. But you get down below 2 inches and it's just dry as a bone again. Right. And so, point being is like it's a little bit of rain can definitely change the entire perspective of what that course is going to look like and run like and just it changes the whole experience on the race days for sure. So fingers crossed, a little bit to keep the dust down, but nothing more than that. And I think the heat, like there's just no avoiding it here in this part of the Texas area, right? It's just even at the time of year this race is, I mean, you would think, well, it should be cooling off. There's just really not much of that. It may be a little cooler, but not much. It's still going to get hot at the peak of the day. So especially on Saturday for those doing that ultra and that beast, right? Man, like you just can't stress the hydration aspect of things, right? The nutritional aspect of things and being prepared. Yeah. You're going to dehydrate pretty quick. So any thoughts on that side of things, the hydration part especially?
Yeah, I mean, if I know that's a question you'll probably ask me later, but I cover it now, right? What is the biggest thing you can do to prepare for this event? Just hydrate. Start early, days in advance with that hydration. It's not something you can put off till the last minute. So, and like you said, nutrition, knowing that it is going to be hot and you're going to be pushing yourselves, especially with those longer distances. So making sure that, you're eating properly and fueling your body and all of that is going to be key. So that would be my biggest thing for preparation is just to hydrate.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, proper amount of electrolytes and proper amount of water make all the difference in the world and how your day is going to go. So, so have you had a chance to look into kind of the local area around the venue to kind of see what's there? What, again, obviously we're not far from Dallas, right? And so like if somebody's going to come in and be there for the weekend and not doing both days, ideally we would love for you to volunteer on the day that you're not racing. Or the afternoon or the morning before you're going to race or after you're going to race, right? That would be perfect. But if somebody's coming in for a long weekend, is there much to do in that area around Twin Canyons Ranch, or do you recommend maybe heading back to Dallas?
So, I mean, you got Dallas right there. You got Fort Worth. So you got plenty of barbecue and some beer and, all the kind of things that you think of with Texas, right? So, so I would just try to find a local place to eat well and reward yourself for your hard work, that you did during the day. So that would be.
If I would tell anybody, if you can get there's a lot of places, not far from the venue as well. But if you get back into the Dallas Fort Worth area, The Fort Worth stockyards, there's so many good places to eat there, whether you want a big steak or just great barbecue. Listen, it's Texas. There's no shortage of good barbecue, right? And everybody has their favorites, but at the end of the day, barbecue is barbecue in Texas, and most of it's going to be good no matter where you go. So definitely highly recommend that part of it. So enjoy the local stuff. That's what I would tell anybody, right? Regardless if you stay local to the ranch or if you go into the city. I think the best thing is find some place you can eat there that you can't eat at home, right? Experience something a little bit different. So,
and if you're not from the area, I think you should get some Western flair. Get a hat.
Listen, if you don't own a cowboy hat and you leave without owning a cowboy hat, I don't even know if you actually even went to Dallas. I don't even think you actually landed in Texas, right? You got to get your cowboy hat if you're going.
Yep.
I mean, boots, that's a different story. Like, boots are really unique and special. And if you're going to do good boots, then you got to allow for some time for that. But I mean, boots and a hat, hey, it'll fit really well if you're doing the ultra, because you'll get the really big buckle to go on your belt. Right. So all you need to do is add the hat or the boots to complete the look when it comes to everything's bigger in Texas. Right. So.
Because you can go back with your medal and tell everybody that you did a Texas event, but unless you have that hat, they're not going to believe you.
Not going to believe you could have got that medal anywhere. Shoot. Right. Good stuff. So yeah. So I think a couple of things before we wrap this up is we talked a little bit about the volunteering part of this, right? And again, for those on the fence or for those that may not be able to get out and actually run or participate, but you still want to be a part of the event, we'd love to have you come out, volunteer on the build week leading up to it, volunteer on, either or both race days, volunteer for loadout after the fact. Any extra hands and all that help is much appreciated. Plus, you get a little bit extra swag out of it. You get some race codes out of it. So there's a lot of pluses to do that. And again, it's truly seeing Spartan from the inside, right? It's a whole different perspective and a whole different look on what you get to see and be a part of. I tell everybody the only thing better than running some of our events is being a part of the building and the designing and the laying out of the events themselves, right? Because there's true blood, sweat, and tears invested by everybody that comes out for those parts. So, but we'd love to have you come out and volunteer. If you're running either or both race days, again, come prepared, come ready, right? Hydrated, all the right gear. Call to action. What's your rally cry for the people coming out to Dallas? What is it? 30 seconds.
I would just say hydrate, come ready, and be ready to it's a big race, which is what you expect in Texas, right? Everything's got to be bigger, and so it's a big race, so be ready for it and just do it.
That's it. That's it. And with that being said, we'll wrap this video up, and thanks for joining Leah and myself. And for everybody going out to Dallas, please make sure you if you pass Leah and then around the festival or on course, say hey, let her know you saw the video. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.